Okay, so picture this. It's like finding out someone's been secretly living in your house for, 3 years?
Yeah, that's pretty much the scale we're talking about with SK Telecom, South Korea's biggest telecom company. A major cyber infiltration.
A really concerning one. And the group they think is behind it, Red Mansion, linked to the Chinese state, apparently.
Exactly. Which, straight away makes you think this probably isn't just about money.
Right. So in this deep dive, we're going to unpack this. We'll look at the timeline, how the attack worked, and what it sort of tells us about cyber defenses over there. Okay, a 3-year intrusion. How did this even start? Or rather, when did they find out?
Well, the discovery part is interesting. Reports suggest some malicious code, they call it BPF door, was planted way back, like June 15th, 2022.
June 2022. Wow, that's a long time to have something like that lurking in your system.
A very long time. And then, fast forward to this year, March 18th, they spot some suspicious activity. Finally.
But here's the thing. I read they didn't tell the authorities until March 20th. Isn't there a rule about reporting faster?
There absolutely is.
Okay.
A legal requirement, actually.
Yeah.
Report within 24 hours.
24 hours, okay.
And SK Telecom's reason was internal verification. They needed to check things first.
Okay. But that delay, could that cause problems for them legally?
It certainly could. It raises serious questions about how they handled it, about balancing internal checks with quick public disclosure, especially for critical infrastructure.
Makes sense. Now, this malware, BPF door, you mentioned Red Mansion. That sounds sophisticated. What more do we know about the attack itself?
Well, the link to a state-backed group, plus the fact there was no ransom demand, it strongly suggests espionage or, strategic data gathering.
Not just trying to make a quick buck.
Precisely. And what's really quite clever or worrying, depending on how you look at it, is how they apparently kept changing the malware, altering it, rotating it, specifically to avoid being detected for so long.
So it wasn't just one piece of code sitting there. It was actively evolving, hiding.
Exactly, staying ahead of the defenses.
So what were they after? What kind of data? I heard initial reports tried to downplay it, but maybe that changed.
That's right. At first, it seemed like maybe data leaks weren't the main issue. But later reports, they indicated this code was found on servers holding really sensitive stuff.
Like what?
Specifically, IMEI numbers were mentioned.
Okay, IMEI numbers. Those are the unique codes for every phone, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like a digital fingerprint for your mobile device.
Yeah.
Getting access to those, well, that's potentially serious.
Serious how? Like identity theft, surveillance.
Both are possibilities. You can potentially track devices, link them to individuals. It opens up avenues for misuse. We don't know for sure what data was taken, I should add.
Right, it's unconfirmed. But the potential is there, and that's enough to make people nervous.
Understandably, you hear about consumers getting quite anxious, some even changing their SIM cards just in case.
I can see why. But then, if your data was compromised, what happens? Is it easy to get compensated?
Historically in South Korea, it's been challenging. Even when breaches are proven, the compensation for individuals has often been quite small, maybe around, $75? It's hard to put a price on that kind of potential harm.
$75.
Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't feel like much given the anxiety. This whole thing feels bigger than just individual data, though. It sounds like a real wake-up call for South Korea.
Oh, absolutely. It's being framed as a national security issue. For a country that's so technologically advanced and connected, it really highlights maybe a need for beefing up cybersecurity infrastructure, better real-time detection, maybe tougher penalties for companies when breaches happen or reporting is slow.
And it probably shows how important it is for countries to, share information about these threats, right? Especially with these state-linked groups.
International cooperation is key when you're dealing with actors who have significant resources and operate across borders.
Okay, so let's recap. We've got this really long, sophisticated attack possibly by a state-backed group like Red Mansion.
Right. Likely espionage motivated.
A worrying delay in reporting it, which could have consequences, potential compromise of sensitive data, like those IMEI numbers.
Causing real anxiety for users.
And ultimately, it's a stark reminder about the state of cybersecurity readiness, even in a tech giant like South Korea.
Precisely. The duration, the stealth, the potential impact, the questions about accountability. It's a significant event.
So as you think about this, maybe consider the bigger picture. What happens when state-sponsored groups target the technology we rely on every day? How do we, or how should governments and companies balance national security, corporate responsibility, and, your own right to privacy in this connected world? It's definitely something to chew on.